You ever roll into boost and your car just hesitates? It doesn't feel quite right, or even worse, you roll into boost and you get knock? Well, that's probably because your closed loop to open loop transition is not tuned correctly, or it's Subaru's stock implementation. So in this video, we're going to talk about why that stock implementation sucks, what you can do to fix it, and we'll give you an example of me tuning my own car. I picked up some pretty serious knockout on our initial pull, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. Definitely saw some knock. 22.5 pounds of boost on the stock turbo. You could say things are getting a little spicy. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a little bit, been a minute here. I think it's been about 2 weeks since my last video. I greatly apologize. I know I said I really wanted to be consistent, putting out videos every week, but you know, trying to get this business started, and it's been taking a lot of my time. So my apologies. Things are still going on. We're still cranking away. Let's talk a little bit. I mean, there's a lot to talk about, honestly. I hit 100 subscribers while I was gone. Not only did we hit 100 subscribers, but then we blew right past it, and I think we're at 140 right now. So that's absolutely insane. Thank you so much, everyone, for subscribing. You know, at the beginning, it's so funny how 100 subscribers seemed like a pipe dream those first couple of weeks, couple of months. And now to see that we shot right past it and we're already almost to 150, it's really cool to see. So, you know, the support, so many of you are continuing to comment and watching my videos. I'm recognizing your names. That's so cool. I really, really appreciate all of that support. It means the world to me. So thank you so much. We still got so much to do on this car. I'm already thinking about another car. That's way far off in the future, but, you know, we're going to keep grinding here, and hopefully things work out with my business venture and we can make this more of a full-time thing and build some cooler stuff and much faster timelines. So that's kind of the hope here. So first thing, let's talk a little bit about Subaru's stock implementation of the closed loop to open loop map transition. So in Subaru's infinite wisdom, I can't really blame them here. Once again, this all comes down to emission standards. So the biggest problem with the stock open loop to closed loop transition is that there's actually a delay in there to keep the engine running leaner for fuel emission standards, to keep your miles per gallon up before it richens up to enter open loop and to give you your open loop primary fueling target AFR. So that's number one thing that we need to do, is we need to kill that open loop to closed loop transition delay, so that as soon as we command the car to go into an open loop area, it immediately turns rich and we don't have any of that kind of roll into boost leanness that is super dangerous once you start turning the boost up and modifying the car. So what does that actually look like? You know, let's say you're in third gear, 2000 RPM, you slam the pedal down, you want to get after it. And what is going to happen is your car is going to start picking up boost. Maybe you're making 10 pounds of boost, but you're still at 14.7 AFR. Obviously, that is dangerous. So that is why we need to make some changes to this and make sure that we are getting our commanded AFR. Let's talk about what do you need to log before you go do your first pull so that you can see kind of where you're at and what changes you need to make. All right, so here we are in my RomRaider. Let's load up. I've got this labeled as boost control, but I use it for just about everything now. So you have, some of these are extra because we're also gonna double check our VE map, but I'll tell you everything that I'm logging, and then I'll outline which ones I think are a requirement for this transition tuning. So AF correction number 1, AF learning number 1, AF sensor number 1. This is all just to dial in our speed density in our closed loop region if we decide we want to. Coolant temperature, always want to know that your car's up to speed, of course, or up to temperature. Engine speed, of course, we need to know what your RPMs are. Injector duty cycle is not a requirement for this, but my point with this car, with the stock fuel system, I'm always monitoring my IDC to make sure that we're not pushing too high. It's going to be interesting to see what we have today because we reached a new high of 22.5 pounds of boost on the stock fuel system. So I'm interested to see what our IDC is. Intake air temperature, basically should always be logging that. Manifold absolute pressure, it's another speed density thing. Wastegate duty cycle, that was from boost controller tuning, which I still will make a video on that, but not in this one. Rear O2, that's my wideband. That is a requirement for this. I think throttle opening angle is also a requirement for this. You need to know when you're trying to really get into closed loop or try to get into open loop. Yeah, it's not going to show me everything because I'm not plugged into the car. You also need engine load. This is something that I just learned because I was looking for the table to control the transition itself, and it looks like on newer Subarus they got rid of that tunability, and it's hard coded into the ECU. So all we can really do is set the delay to 0. And I'm doing this live. I have not really looked at these tables too much in advance, but under the fueling closed loop to open loop transition table, or tab I guess, there is a maximum engine speed per gear, and if you exceed this RPM in this gear, you'll transition from closed loop to open loop. If we go back and look at our log, when did we go? 4,200 RPM. So we didn't even, like, we were still in the delay period, but our RPM exceeded, so that's why we transitioned. So I think all we need to do here, this closed loop to open loop delay, go look at the properties. So this is saying this is used for everything if the SI drive is 0. Okay. We're going to zero this out. Set that to 0. Set the SI drive to 0. I don't think we need to make any other adjustments because we're setting the delay to 0. Yeah, when the closed loop delay is non-zero, this table will be used. Yep, okay, so we don't have to worry about those 4 tables. They only matter if you have a delay. Since we completely removed the delay, we don't need to worry about them. Let's double check the SI drive one. So this is used when SI Drive Intelligent is active if it's a non-zero, but we've got 0. When coolant temp is less than this, closed loop delay is set to 0, but we already set it to 0, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, so this is all about different variations where it will override it and set it to 0. But since we already set it to 0, we shouldn't need to worry about it. Okay. We're going to actually call this V1, closed loop, open loop. All right, I think I'm going to double check a couple things, but I think it might be time to jump in the car and go see what it does. All right, guys, we will flash the tune real quick. Oh, I forget this all the time. Can't have two things connected at once. All right. IAT at 122. Spicy. Alright, let's go to Mexico. Oh, it felt so much better.
guys when we get home. Let's look at the logs.
All right, guys. So we're back. Let's take a look at the log and see what difference that made. So we can see the first pull here. First thing to notice immediately, there is no closed loop to open loop transition anymore. We are in open loop the entire time. Our boost at this point is 0.24 and we're already in open loop. So much, much, much better. There's definitely some work to be done here with my VE map and my primary open loop fueling table. You can see we're pretty far apart here on AFR, so I'm not sure quite how things got so out of whack. Maybe it's the temperature, maybe it's the boost 4-bar map sensor that I put in. I don't know. Either way, you got to constantly be monitoring your stuff, making sure that things are good. So let's look at the second pull just for good measure. So we can see I was getting an uncomfortable amount of knock during... Oh no, this one wasn't the terrible one. But same story here. We actually do see that we are in closed loop at the very beginning of this log, but we transition to open loop basically immediately. And we are in open loop as we're building boost the entire... Man, these colors are terrible. It's a little bit better. Definitely some work to be done here as well with my VE. Some of these are pretty far apart. I was at 11.6, but we should have been at 10.4. That's not good. That's not the way I like this to be. Hit 22.5 pounds of boost. We'll look at the last log. This log has more knock in it than I really want to show. 4.5 or 4.2 degrees of knock, 3.85, 3.5, 3.1. Finally gets out of knock at 5,000 RPM. So I mean, it's kind of weird, honestly, that it's knocking this hard. I mean, 12 is pretty lean. At 8 psi. So tuning, you know, it's a constant back and forth. Did the changes we made to the closed loop to open loop table make a huge difference? Yeah, I'd say so. The car felt way, way, way better now. It is actually kind of astonishing how much better it feels, excuse me, rolling into boost now. I definitely, whether I was getting knock or not, I had really bad kind of hesitation, lurching, didn't really feel smooth or confident while it was getting into boost. That's completely gone now. As soon as you hammer on the pedal, the car definitely switches to open loop and it feels good. The pull feels cleaner, smoother. So if you have this problem, if you're tuning your car yourself, make sure you go in there, zero out that delay. Safe for your car, safe for your tune, makes the car feel a lot better. All right, guys, so let's do a comparison. It's kind of hard to see on this small monitor. It'll probably blow up better on the big computer. But what we've got here is on the bottom log, this is our before, and on the top we have our after. So down here you can actually see the red line is our closed loop to open loop transition right here in the center. Yellow is our boost. So you can see that we hit peak boost and start tapering down before we ever enter open loop. Whereas on our adjustments, we start in open loop from the beginning and start building our boost pressure. Boost is gray up here. This isn't the best log to compare with. Let me compare it with one. Yeah, that's a much better comparison. So Here we can see boost is teal. So we are in open loop the entire time. And just out of curiosity, let's say 8 PSI on the new setup, we were at 13.1 AFR. And here, 8 PSI, we were at 14.1. So definitely richened it up quite a bit. We can also see we were targeting at the bottom before we made our changes. Our target was 14.2. Makes sense. We were in closed loop. Here at 8, our final fueling base, our target was 12.8, and we were hitting 13.1. So now you may say at 8 pounds of boost that 12.8 is still too lean. That's where you're going to go in and adjust your primary open loop fueling table to richen it up to your liking. I think I may end up doing that as well now that we've, are kind of in a position to do that. Before I can do that though, I still need to dial in my VE map. There's obviously some issues with it. So, but I think that this shows a really kind of neat comparison of the difference that you can expect once you make that change. All right, guys, with that, I think I'm going to wrap this video up. We still got a lot of work to do on this tune, I think, before we start slapping all those other parts on. Still need to do our boost control video. I think that's probably, maybe next video, next weekend, we'll kind of do a cleanup tune video. We'll go in and we'll finish cleaning up the VE map. Maybe we'll actually adjust the primary open loop finally, maybe play with the tuning. We'll cover what I did with the boost control. I think that still needs to be dialed in a little bit. I'm trying to target 20, and obviously we got up to 22 today. So that probably needs a little bit of adjustment as well. So look forward to that for next weekend. If you like this video, if I helped you out in any way, hit the like button. I would really appreciate it. If you're excited for the car, for the build, and you're not subscribed, definitely subscribe. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming down the pipeline this summer. With that, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.